Awesome. We are live. Today I am joined with Alex Rawiri. How are you today, my brother?
Good, bro. Good. Excited to be here. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I've just got a little intro for you here. You're a practicing naturopath, nutritionist, exercise kinesiologist, and biomechanics specialist, bridging the gap between ancient healing and modern movement science. That's epic, bro.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, bit of a
Yeah,
tongue twister for me to write that down, but but
yeah.
it's what I studied and what I practice today. Being true to who I am, so love health.
Massive, brother. And I love this because we're on similar journeys and we teach similar things. We're both in the coaching industry. I'd love it if we can just start with like a brief history of like your journey, where you grew up, how you got into a holistic approach to coaching and all this good stuff.
Yeah. Um, Man, what a as you said, brief. So I'll keep it brief. But yeah, I started my journey going on about 12 to 13 years ago now. The main reason for it was to get paid while I was boxing, to really focus on that dream and that journey to make it big. You know, I think that was one of the main things was to be in an industry that pushed my boundaries and kept me in the circle so I didn't have to go into a 12-hour shift of a factory job that I hated and then go and fight. You know, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be in the environment that would motivate me and push me to help others, but also to fuel my own dream. So that was about, yeah, that was years ago now. I think 2010, 2011, I started my journey in the health space. And it was a hard road. It was a hard road because no one wants you to win. You know, no
Mm,
one wants to help you. You have to go out and get it yourself. So I found that that track was very, very challenging, especially for a young Māori boy that's born and raised in Mangere, that
mm.
looks half like a G and half half knows what he's doing or knows what he's speaking. Um, but yeah, you have to go out and get those dreams that you're after. So I've done that for a couple of years, bouncing back and forth of trying to box, trying to work, trying to do all these things. But my passion was always health, and yeah, that lasted for a couple of years. Went to MIT to study my diploma. I didn't finish it because I felt like it was just too broad. There were just too many directions that I didn't want. I just wanted to coach. You know, I wanted to help people heal. And I just felt like that was so broad. Yes, it's trying to open up your avenues of where you could potentially be, but I felt like it was just studying to a dead end. So I stopped that and I went straight to a personal training course. I went to Te Wānanga back in the day, done the certificate, and then I went to the diploma, and then I applied for uni, but it was so far away over the shore, and I was in South, and I was like, it's not going to work. So I went to Green Lane, and I went to NZIHF, I think NZIHF. Oh no, NZIS, New Zealand Institute of Sport, in Green Lane, and I studied there. Met a few brothers, met a few sisters that are still in the game today, and I
Cool.
really, really appreciated that I wasn't the only one that was actually passionate about health. And yeah, met those professionals, and they're still going hard today. So the I guess fast track from there, stopped boxing, and I just went all in health and just trying to work anywhere I could. You know, ended up at Jets, and then that's sort of where I started to really get into the business aspect of it,
Mm,
of making it really a viable business, not just trying to get clients and trying to get dollars off them. It wasn't just it wasn't just that. It was actually setting structures in place, setting systems, sending follow-up emails, like what? I didn't know any of that. You sort of study that in course, but you don't really.
Yeah.
So it was like learning on hand. Yeah, done that for a few years, and then went down to Hamilton. Stayed there for about 2 years. Didn't like it. Moved back to Auckland, and then just got back into it. And then that's when I started. 2018, I think 2017 possibly. I started to get into the holistic aspect of it from one of the brothers, me and Joe, someone that you can potentially talk to as well. But we got
Mm.
into it. We always talked about, bro, we'll start our own studio, we'll start our own gym, we'll do this, we'll do that, and it was sort of we were in the same space, but we're in two different environments. He was in St. Heliers, or he was around St. John's area, and I was in South Auckland. So it was like how can we bring my clients to you? And you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it was hard to sort of mix it up. But then as I was coming back up from Hamilton, his name popped up on my messenger, and I was like, I'm just going to message him, see what he's up to. I was like, hey, bro, like, how are you? And he goes, bro, that is crazy shit that you just reached out because, like, I've started the studio. And I'm like, really? Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was alignment. I knew that, okay, I need to go here, I need to learn. And I was going through some shit, but as everyone does, I just blocked it out sort of and just focused forward. And then that's when I started to get into the Czech Institute and everything that I had done up until that point. I would, I I had a client and he was the CEO of Holden, or at the time he was the CEO of the whole Holden, the cast, Holden,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he was the CEO, and I always would train him every single morning. And I realized this dude was so tight that I couldn't give him what he wanted. I was
Mm.
split. I was always split, trying to be that PT that'll push you, because you wanted it. I used to do that, be that guy that just smashed the crap out of you because that's what you wanted to, and then I'll tell you to go and next person. But this guy, I couldn't do that, and he was like, "Oh, I really want to train." And I said, "Bro, your range of motion, you can't even lift weights above your head. It's in front of you." So
Mm.
I started stretching him, just stretching him alone, and just telling him to breathe into movements without even knowing that that was an aspect of what he should be doing in his program, because I hadn't studied this stuff yet. So I was giving him all of these things and it was working. He was feeling good. He was starting to align himself. And I'm like, whoa. So fast forward, I guess 3 or 4 years later, I'm studying all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I knew I was
Mm.
doing the right shit. Like I knew that there was a better way to help clients achieve their results, to get them out of pain, to get them out of inflammation, all of this stuff. That I started to dive deep into the Czech Institute. And it's very, I would say it's not hard, but Paul makes you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he teaches you how to actually think and diagnose and assess, and really dive into your own brain of what you actually truly believe is this person's problem,
Mm.
and how you can actually solve that with the techniques, the tools, and yeah. And bro, I live and die by the Czech Institute. Like Paul's the man.
Yeah.
There's also practitioners around the world that he gets a lot of his information from that I've dove into. So the nutritional aspect, I've dove into a few of those. Biomechanics, Feldenkrais.
Mm.
I've just broadened the horizon of health and movement, biomechanics, kinesiology. But I'm just like always like, oh. So yeah,
And always
that's been
learning
my
too, eh,
journey.
brother? Always learning.
Always learning. I never say that I know everything. Like even with clients, you're supposed to be this authority, but I'm like I'm still learning too. And it's sort of they're like, huh? Like, but I've been learning for the last 12 years. Then they're like,
Yes.
oh, so it's you sort of yeah, keep them at ease that you're actually practicing. You're not running off old programs that are just stagnant and you're not developing. I mean, don't fix what's not broke, but there's always something to add to it, eh? And yeah, it's been a journey, bro. It's been a massive journey. That's probably the the brief explanation of my health my health
Yeah.
journey. Um,
That's massive, brother. That's massive. I love that. And I had a feeling that you were a Czech study and that you'd worked with the Paul Czech model as well. Maybe I saw it somewhere, but just listening to that, bro, I'm like, yep, we're on the same page, bro. And I love this idea of like going to study, but then you have this impulse and this intuition that this isn't right. I want to do stuff that actually works. Because I
mm,
had the same thing and I was studying psychology and I was like,
mm,
yeah, there's some truth to this, but like where's the meat and potatoes of like the stuff that actually helps people heal and the stuff that
100%.
actually helps people evolve? And when I started listening to Paul Chick, I was like, he knows what he's talking about. And it's
Yeah.
it's so practical and it is
Mm,
comprehensive. There is a lot of stuff to know, and it's understanding how interconnected everything is. But it's a practical approach too, and that's why I love it. And
mm,
and like you said, once you get on this journey, it's like it branches out into different things, right? Like I've gone out and I did a kettlebell course, and then you start
mm,
learning about, functional strength training and outdoor and all these different
mm.
things that you can use with the body. Like you said, nutrition, and I want to get into all this stuff, but I think
Cool.
there's a massive piece there on the never-ending learning that starts to take place, and there's always more things that we can start to bring into our game as a coach
Mm,
to help people, because you're going to start finding these clients that have specific challenges, and you're like,
100%.
oh, actually, like, you came to me for weight loss, we can work with that, but there's actually all this other stuff going on,
Yeah.
and I know how to work with that because I've studied it, right?
Mm,
Yeah. No, that's cool, bro. What I'd love to do is kind of just open up this space where we go into all the fundamentals, go
yeah.
into all the fundamentals for the health journey, because I truly believe that no matter what anybody's goal is, you have to look after your health. Otherwise, you're just going to go from problem to problem, and you're going to fall into those survival archetypes. And the
Mm,
pain teacher's going to come and knock at your door, and it's going to give you a hiding until you wake up and you realize, okay, I got to clean up my diet, I got to
yeah.
clean up my movement routine or my sleep, and and I think if we start there, if people can at least acknowledge the health journey, then they're going to have the foundation to move towards their goals in a better way.
Mm,
So yeah, and I'm sure you feel the same. It's so important, so important. Where I would love to start is the mindset. So
cool.
when we're taking on like a new client or something like that, we want to harness their intention, their goals. We want
Mm,
to create values around that, and we want to harness the creative energy and the, I guess, the inspiration to like do the things, because we're working with habit change, right? We're
yeah.
working with deep programs, and we're starting to. It takes a little bit of effort and energy to
Mm,
move towards habit change. So, what's your approach when you're starting to work with somebody when it comes to like mindset and
mm.
goal setting and things like that?
Cool, bro. The main place that I start with people, bro, especially in their mindset, is where they're actually where they're stuck. Where their body held all that crap that they have stacked on top of their life, where they feel blocked. I don't even I know their goal, because when I jump on a call with them, I know where they want to go. But I do understand that there's so many layers that they've put on top of themselves. And in that, I'm not going to get their goal. They're not going to get their goal unless we start to unravel. And I don't bring it up to them like right in front of them. But as time goes on,
Yeah.
they start to realize, oh, we're going through some stuff. We're talking about some stuff. So I I I don't force this mindset stuff or this deep emotional stuff onto them. But they start to open up to me. Some people open up to me real quick, and then they start getting their goals because now they feel free. I start where they're trapped, bro, where they're trapped emotionally, because mentally, yes, that's where they're at, but it's the emotional body that they're stuck in. They're holding all that emotion, and it's just projecting into their mindset. You know, their mindset is their second step. We could go deep into that spiritual aspect, but
Yep.
you know, that's the pure aspect of them, is that spiritual. But it's their emotional body that they're trapped in. And yeah, good question, because
I love
it
that.
makes
I love that you went there with that one, bro. Because I totally agree, and I know what you're saying. Because we can know exactly how to get someone from A to B, but we can see usually quite fast that maybe there's some escapism there, and
yeah,
it's not about me saying, well, you need to get to sleep at 10:30, otherwise you're not going to get the right rest, and it's going to have a cascading effect. But it's like, why are you staying up? Why are
yeah,
you taking those substances? You're actually running away from something. You actually don't want to be with all those emotions that you've been pushing down for
exactly,
who
bro.
knows how long. So that's an interesting piece, bro, because, and I like how you said you don't necessarily bring it up straight away, but for us to be aware of it, to understand that there's that layer of this isn't going to be easy for them to break the habits, you know.
Mm,
So I guess with creating the values, having a goal, creating the values, but knowing that there's these underlying emotional blockages.
yeah.
So how go a little bit deeper into that, because this is fascinating. Like how do you start to like, because I'm the same as you. Some people will talk to me straight away. Some people won't acknowledge it, or and do you bring it up? Like how do you approach it when you know it's there, and you know that it's something that's stopping them from getting to their next level, you know?
If they don't speak to me, if they don't tell me, I can feel it, bro. It's intuition. I can
Yep.
go into my chart, my astrology chart of who I am. Um, I have 6 planets in the spiritual house. So for a lot of people, they just feel comfortable with me to share
Yes.
that stuff, and they go deeper. And sometimes I have to hold up my barrier to sort of, you know what I mean. I have to protect
Yep.
myself, because I can be such an empath that they'll feel amazing, and I'll be going away with all these negative thoughts that aren't mine. Or so I've had to learn how to hold that barrier. But yeah, in that, if they don't tell me, if they don't speak it, and I feel it, I'll touch on what I feel, and it'll come out. It'll start to come out,
Yeah.
bro. Um, yeah, I don't push it, but I'll say something, and if someone says something to you and you're like, hang on, did they just say that? They pick up on it like that, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that does make sense.
And
And
you can tell if it resonates, right? And I love what you're saying, because realistically this is a true holistic approach. It's
yeah,
the mind, body, and the soul. It's honoring the spiritual aspects. And I think this is why people like yourself make great coaches, because the more we can do the inner work on ourselves, like doing the inner healing, individuating, becoming closer as we can to our true self, doing the attunement work to connect with something bigger than ourselves. People do feel safe around us. People do feel
100%.
that there's something within us that makes them go, "You've got something that I want," and maybe it's not just the training and the diet stuff, and we do have that ability to, like you said, I'm just going to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Is that true? And then it allows them to talk. I think a lot of personal trainers realize this. You become a therapist, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, bro. Like, that's been my whole journey. As I touched on my astrology chart, I can't get away
Yeah.
from it.
Yes.
No matter how practical I try and be with clients, it just doesn't work, bro. Like, I have a few clients that are just focused on that practical aspect, but just something always comes up. 90% of my client base, and it's always, renewing, but 90% of them are coming to me thinking that they're coming to me for personal training or, gym, but then they're coming for this healing.
Yes.
I have a healing nature, and we're probably in alignment with that, is that we are healers more than we are coaches. So
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely, brother. I love that.
it's a powerful
And
thing because this can take you anywhere in the realm of helping people. I can branch off and I can stop doing this coaching aspect online, and I can go into therapeutic things, or I can do whatever I want with this because it's the energy that I hold.
yes, brother.
That you can go in and
Yeah.
you can do these things, you can hold space, you can mix it up, you can have fun with it and actually just live your true self rather than just trying to be I've always tried that. Just try to be a PT. Just try to be like a successful fitness coach. It just does not align with who I am. So then I created the holistic coach, and now everyone's like, oh, wow. So I'm like, oh, okay. So you want me in more alignment of who I am in this environment. So yeah, I
Bro.
think people come to me for that.
And you spoke into like your astrology chart, and like I resonate with that too. It's like you're speaking into your soul's path. Like we can't
Yeah,
get away from like what we're actually here to do. And as much
exactly.
as we want to say, nah, I just want simplicity. I just want to like, just, have a really simple day and then go back to my family and do my things. It's like you got a higher purpose.
Yeah.
And we live in a crazy time, bro. We live in a sick society where people are just in stress, they're
Mm,
unhealthy, the immune system's, shot. And a lot of people need that healing too, because there's
100%.
waves and generations of trauma that people are ready to process as well.
Mm,
But I think the holistic approach is an integrative approach, and
mm,
it's an approach that nurtures the nervous system too.
mhm.
I think a lot of people that do healing work who miss the holistic side of things, you're forgetting about the body and you're forgetting about these things, and it's very
Exactly.
easy for people to go back. So like, even though people might not realize they're coming for healing, they're they're going through a very valuable and beneficial path,
Mm,
because you're building yourself in a multi-dimensional way. Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
It's like as within, so without, you can do all the mental, emotional work. You can go to all the workshops you want. You can release all the trauma you want. You can do all that stuff. But if you're not practically using it, if you're not holistically doing the work, then you're always going to be lacking in some area. I found
mm,
that people do a lot of that and they're disconnected to that, or they do a lot of physical, but they're disconnected to who they are. You know,
yes,
there's no combination or there's no integration, as you said. And that's why us holistic practitioners are so important, because we bring it all. And not to say that we're airy fairy, we're
mm,
still real, we're still people,
yes,
and we are imperfectly imperfect. I still swear sometimes, like,
yep.
but, you know, I'm still me. And
Still a work in progress, eh?
yeah, and I'm not trying to be anyone but me.
Yep.
When it comes to being authentically yourself, be professional, but also be real. Like, I'm still gonna hit you up if you say something stupid to me. I'm gonna DM you and be like, bro, why did you say that shit on my thing? Be like,
Yep.
oh, what? You like? I'm still gonna be real. I'm
Bro,
still
this
gonna
is
turn
it.
up.
And this is true liberation. I see this all the time in some of the spiritual work that I do, and I was really lucky because I had a good foundation of just fundamental meditation practice, training the attentional system, and like a lot of the teachers that I kind of had growing up. It's like you understand that true liberation is like having the courage to just be yourself, and it's
Mm,
getting rid of all the masks and realizing how many masks there are
mm,
and how many illusions people are living in. And
100%.
like and again, this is something that you can feel is like, wow, this person's actually just confident in just being themselves, and that's the true liberation. But that might not look like a monk floating on the cloud, because that's not me.
100%, bro.
I'm
Exactly.
actually just a real guy who's got my own astrology chart, and I got my own stuff, and like, I'm like you. I swear I have my stuff that I'm working with, but at least I'm real, and like, at least I'm honest. Yeah.
100%. I think when it comes to being authentically yourself, that is your uniqueness that you bring into everything that we are. As a
Yes.
collective, if I turned up and I'm like, oh, we're just here, we're becoming better and better every single day. Fuck, no one wants to listen to that. You
And
know,
it doesn't resonate.
no, it doesn't resonate. It's inauthentic because, as you said, it's a mask. But when you take that mask off and your kids challenge you, what are you gonna do? You know, how are you gonna turn up when your kid looks at you and go, "Oh no, you're not cool." Trying to trigger you, and you're gonna be, "Oh no, that's awesome, son, bro." I'm gonna look at him and be like, "What do you mean I'm not cool? Of course I'm cool."
20
Like,
push-ups. 20
yeah,
push-ups.
bro, pull up right now. Like yeah, it's just being authentic, and that's what I like to do in my content as well.
Yes.
Tell the truth. Just be truthful, be straight to the point. That's who I am. It's how I am. So I'm just straight up. Like,
I
say
love it,
something
brother.
wrong to me, I'm not gonna go, oh, okay, I'll come back. I'm gonna come
Yeah.
back and I'm gonna hang on, bro. Did you just say that to me? Bro, what? So it is what it is, and we haven't learned everything that we've been placed here to learn until we're finished. That's it. Like, you're gonna be learning up until the point you're on your deathbed. So why not enjoy it and be you? Because that's the experience that the collective or God is looking to experience through you, right? Like, having a shit upbringing, growing up and having an amazing experience of life now. Wow.
Yes,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank you for that experience. Now I can put that in the gigabytes inside the hard drive, that anyone can experience that now. Just be you, like, and people will resonate, and people won't, which is good because then that sort of gets rid of the shit kickers.
I love that message, brother. And I feel like when the more we jump on that path of alignment, the more we need that faith, because we're always moving into a new chapter. We don't know what's around the corner. Like, it's good to set goals, it's good to plan things, but a lot of the time, like, God or the universe or whatever you want to call that thing, it's got better plans for us. We just need to trust. We need to
Yeah.
trust that unfolding path in front of us. Um, Brother, I want to jump into some of this practical stuff. I want to
Yep.
jump into some of these keys when it comes to the holistic coaching. And I actually want to start with sleep, because I think sleep is one of these things that a lot of people struggle with. But as we know, sleep is our most powerful medicine.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
this thing, it's detoxifying the brain, it's repairing the body, it's repairing ourselves. We need it. It's such an important part of not just the body, but the mind as well. Like, where do people start with sleep? What are some of these keys that we can take on board?
Nice. I think it's very, very powerful. Like, how practical and how simple is it to get a sufficient amount of sleep, but how hard is it in today's world? One of the biggest problems that I have with my clients is sleep.
Yep.
So for any individual, I think the most important part is to really structure out your your week, understanding where you're going to be, because a lot of people work away, a lot of people have rotating shifts, so many different aspects to an individual's lifestyle. So understanding, yes, we want an average of 7 hours of sleep, but sometimes people can't.
Yep.
So you have to know your schedule, work back from that. What time can I actually get my head down on the pillow? And what time can I really commit to that's going to create space for myself in the morning? As I always tell my clients, the first thing that you give to yourself is time. especially in the morning.
Yeah.
And if you don't, like every single client that comes in, as soon as they do that, they see a change in energy. They see a change in how they approach their job. They're like, wow, like I have intention today. I feel really intentional about my life. I'm like,
Yes.
look how simple that is. So really committing to a specific time to put your head down and get off all devices, at least an hour before. This can look different to any or to everyone. Like me, I get down at 10 p.m. I don't look at my phone from 8:30, and I
Nice.
can be consistent with that Monday to Sunday. But everyone's different. Some people get their head down at 12 a.m. Some people get their head down at 7 p.m. So really, really lock into what is true for you, what is actually going to work for you consistently. And then in those transition periods of, waking, because we know that that's where your biggest healing comes from. So as soon as you go to sleep, when you start getting deeper and deeper, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. is when you physiologically start to repair the body.
Yes.
And then 12 to 2 is when you psychologically start to repair the body. So those are very crucial, but it doesn't mean, oh man, these are the times that I have to be to sleep by. That can work for anyone that's on a graveyard shift. It just means that you've given yourself that time, that hour to 2 hours to get into that deep sleep, to start this repair. So that's what I tell my clients that do graveyard is like, no. You just have to get at least 1 to 2 hours, like really relaxed into yourself so your body can start to repair itself from that 2 hour mark. So 2 hours to get into that sleep, 2 hours to get, that deep, like you wake up in the morning, right? And your body's sore, especially if you had a hard session. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's your body repairing itself. That's repair. So yeah, that's that 4 hour gap. And Paul talks about that, is that your physiological and your psychological need to be repaired at these specific times because that's when they need repairing.
Yeah.
If you
It's
don't
the
give it that
circadian
time,
rhythm,
you're
right?
only
The
getting,
circadian rhythm. Yeah.
yeah, that circadian rhythm. If you don't get that rest and you're only sleeping for 4 hours, damn, you're missing out on one or the other. Right?
Yes.
You got into the deep sleep and then your body started to physically repair, but then you feel like complete garbage when you wake up because you only had 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep. And then you're not getting that full 4 hours of sleep where you'll be in and out of deep sleep. But most of the time, 30 minutes to an hour, your body's really deep. It gets that physiological and psychological repair. I think that's the most important part to understand of your sleep is you are going through repair mentally and physically. And if you don't, woo, you already know what it feels like. You're going to wake up shitty mood, and
That's it.
then
Low energy.
low
Yeah,
energy.
I feel like adding a few things to that, bro, because I love just how you went into that and the importance of it. I think one thing that we underestimate too is air quality. So like just thinking about the room that you're sleeping in,
Yeah.
and a lot of people when I talk to about this, I say, "Do you open a window? Do you leave a window open?" And they go, "No, why would I do that?" Like some people have this thing like someone's going to jump in the window or like it's cold or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, science is telling us that the air in the room can go stale within a few hours.
Yeah.
And because we're constantly breathing out carbon dioxide, and if you've got two people
Filling up.
sleeping in the room, or you've got a dog sleeping in the room or a cat, so now that room is actually there's an imbalance between oxygen and carbon dioxide, and
Nice.
literally that's going to disrupt your sleep. But the most easiest thing we can do is literally open a window. And then now you've got this flow coming in, the natural airflow is coming in. And again, this is just another one of those things that can support deep rest
Yeah.
so that we are getting into that deep sleep. And I think another thing is our nervous system, just honoring that a lot of us have busy days. And some of us, yeah, we're tired and we might be able to like conk out at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., but
Some
you're
people can.
also, yeah, your nervous system's still here. Like the pot's nearly boiling over already.
Yep.
And like just taking that time, like you said, take that time in the morning for yourself, even in the evening, just taking that whatever half an hour just to like do some yoga, do some stretching. If you're training, get the foam roller out. Beautiful time to stretch the body, drop the nervous system down. Now you're going into sleep in an already rested state, and that sleep quality is going to go right up too.
Fully agree. 100%
Yep.
agree. I think your
Yep.
wind down is just as important as your wake up.
Yep. There it is.
Getting that blue light away from your eyes is the most important part today. A lot of people are just scrolling on their phone until they go to bed and then they can't sleep. So that blue light, like just get that blue light on your phone. You should be able to turn on the orange light that just dims the blue light activation. I think, yeah, winding down 2 hours, an hour, even breath work, bro, just before
Yes.
bed. Doing some breath work to tap into that parasympathetic system so the
Yes,
body
brother.
can relax. Um, Keeping stimulants away from your body 12 hours before you go to bed, or 8 hours at the least. If you're going to have caffeine, like, bro, I'm addicted. I'm, I, I cannot function. Not that I can't pick my own serotonin into
Yes.
gear, because I do. I always push it out 90 minutes. But I know I have an addiction, and it's something that I don't want to kick yet. Um,
I'm the same, bro. Yeah, I have my
yeah,
one. I have my one coffee, so I make sure it's a really good one.
yeah,
I got the butter in there, a bit of
yeah, yeah.
honey, like
Slow it down.
raw milk. But I won't have one before 1 p.m. or
Yeah,
after
good.
1 p.m.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that it's not too late in the day, eh? We just got to find our own
exactly that.
balance.
So, yeah, any stimulants, even green tea, anything that produces caffeine. Um, Forgot a few other stimulants that are there, but these stay active in our body and they keep the serotonin levels so high that the melatonin can't even kick in, because your nervous system, your adrenals are still pumping adrenaline. So you're
Yes.
still like, yeah, bro, I'm on. But you should be sleeping. You should be resting, or you're thinking about a project that you're doing and it's just on your mind. There's so many tools that you can put into place, but the basic one is just kick stimulants, exactly that. Don't have it after 1 p.m. If you're going to sleep at 8, 9, 10, that should be enough time to kick that, and then hydrate as well so your body can flush the caffeine out. Yeah, and winding down, making sure that you're tapping into the parasympathetic system, because if you're not, and you're just relying on the natural circadian rhythm that's not even in tune yet to kick in, your body doesn't even know to wind down. So I think the main thing is to hack it, which is breath work, right? You know that
Yeah,
is
brother.
hold your breath and then
Yes.
release and slowly release. So that long exhale is the thing that kicks into the parasympathetic, that slows everything down because you're controlling it to slow down, and then you're able to have a deep sleep, or close to better than. That's one of the main things that I get right with my clients, is making sure that their sleep is on and that we're actually having a wake and sleep cycle. Um, Depending on the tools that we use, it varies on the
Yeah.
individual. Some people
Well,
don't like breath work.
I love that you brought up breathwork because I think that's the easiest tool that we can use to hack our nervous system because it's so
Yeah,
fast. And the deep inhale with the slower exhale, it teaches our nervous system that we're safe and then it's okay.
100%.
Takes us into that parasympathetic real fast
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, okay, we're breathing slow. Everything's all good. I can relax. I can
Mhm.
let the walls down. I would also say a really good magnesium supplement is key.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting into nutrition now anyway. So we'll reverse back on that because you're a chick study, bro. I know that you know this. Everybody's different when it comes to diet and nutrition.
Mm,
Some people, we got to look at our DNA, our metabolic typing, our
mm,
primal pattern diet. Some people need more protein. Some people need more carbohydrates. We need to find out what that ratio is.
mm.
Some people do really well with fruits. But what are you seeing as far as like common things that apply to everybody that you work with, like when it comes to diet? Like, what are the things that everybody can take away from when it comes to, starting to make changes with their diet?
Nice. I think that's a good place to start for nutrition. My answer
Mm,
to that, bro, is everyone is an omnivore. We're not carnivores.
mm,
We're not herbivores. We're, we're omnivores. We're supposed to have a variety of food. And you talked about magnesium, right? There are
mm.
certain foods that do not have magnesium in it or low amounts of magnesium. So how are you supposed to get the nutrients from a not a basic diet, but from a bland, consistent diet when, everyone knows the bodybuilder diet, like, bro, it is the worst. Chicken breast,
Chicken and
broccoli,
rice.
and rice. Like, look at that. Like, yes, there's fiber. Now they're just looking at the macros, right? They're just looking at the ratio of macros that they're eating. Oh, we've dropped out the fats. Bro, your brain
Mm.
is fat.
Yes.
Like, now you understand when they're on a deep cut that these guys are going through mental issues because their brain is lacking its fuel source. And all they need to do is just have a bit of coconut oil and
Yes.
they'd feel better, or grass-fed butter, something to fuel the brain. But yeah, I think omnivore, first answer is that you're supposed to have a variety of different foods, fruits, veg, protein. If you are allergic, or if you're going through, God forbid, like cancer or some type of
Mm.
disease, you know, you need to find it through your diet. What's causing this issue? Is it the chemicals that are bombarded on the foods, or is it the
Yes.
actual food that's not in your genetic makeup that you're eating and is causing all these problems? You
Yep.
know, I can't eat too much wheat, or I can't eat wheat at all, and raw milk, I can't even drink that, bro. Like, it's just
Mm.
no good for me.
Mm.
It is just no good for me, but I still do it. I'm silly, bro. My gut inflames if I have raw milk.
Yeah.
So I look back at my Maori history and I'm like, well, we probably didn't have cows,
That's
and
right,
I
brother.
shouldn't be drinking
Yep.
inflammatory things. So,
A good example of that is people who live in tropical climates who are vegan and they preach this vegan diet. And
mm,
because they're from a tropical climate where, they've got fresh fruit all year long and they've got
yeah,
all this, like an abundance of it too. So they're like, oh, we eat watermelon, we eat pineapple, we eat all these things, and it gives me everything I need. And it's like, my ancestors came from Scandinavia, Scotland.
mm,
Like it froze during the winter. There was no fruit. And
exactly.
I know when I eat a good steak, my body just says yes. My
Yeah,
body's like, thank you. That's what I
yeah,
needed. Like apples ain't gonna cut it. Like I'll
mm,
have apples for a snack, give me that hydration, give me
mm,
that energy. But I need something like a good steak that's gonna hit me completely differently because that's my DNA. It's my ancestry.
mm,
One thing I've noticed with you, brother, is you promote like a high protein breakfast or a high protein diet.
mm.
Talk to me about that. And can people be on like a weight loss journey and still be eating high protein?
Even better if
Yep.
they're on a weight loss or fat loss journey, because that's what essentially that's what they mean.
Mm.
They don't want to lose weight and be skinny fat. They
True
want to
that.
lose
Fat
fat and
loss.
be, yeah, it's fat loss. So you're trying to retain as much muscle mass because as we age, we start to deteriorate in our lean muscle mass. So the main thing for people that are aging, and we're all aging, is to retain as much muscle mass, even build as you're getting older, lean muscle mass, and drop fat. And that's the main thing, is to lose fat, retain muscle. And it's not just for vanity purposes. That's a byproduct of you doing the work to retain all your muscles, lose the fat. And one of the best ways that you can do that is have a high protein, not just breakfast, but a high protein diet. I don't like to preach it for everybody. Right now, I have a client that's on 70% carbohydrates.
Cool.
She's going through, yeah, it's dependent on that person. And I use a few assessments to find out what they actually need, what their body needs. And then I
Yep.
go from there. So she was having irregular bowel movements, she's in remission. She was doing all these things. I gave her a diet, a vegetarian diet, 70% carbohydrates, and she's back to regular bowel movements. She's lost weight. She feels really good. And I'm like, but it's not, and as I told her, it's not long term. So we will
Yeah.
start to introduce things back to her diet, but when she's in a stable condition, or when she's feeling amazing, she's lost the weight that she wants, and then we're gonna start introducing things. Still challenges with clients when she's like, "Oh, I want to go to a barbecue this weekend," and I'm like, "No, sorry, you can't
No.
because yeah, it's going off your plan. You're feeling good, you're feeling amazing, you want to go and you want to introduce meat back to your diet. That's gonna go backwards again. Your body, how I looked at that is that her body was in such an acidic state that it was just disease ridden. And I brought her pH or her balance back to slightly alkaline, and everything's going amazing now. So now it's bringing it back. I think I veered off topic, but
Nah, it's perfect, bro. I was just thinking about how you're speaking into variety, and it's like one thing that I implement with my clients, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is a rotation diet.
yeah,
So,
nice.
like having, say, chicken, kumara, and maybe some sauerkraut, some
Yeah.
fermented foods for the gut microbiome. And maybe I'll have that for 3 meals in a row for that day. And then the next day, I will change the protein, the carbohydrates, and the vegetables. Maybe there's a salad with some olive oil in there.
Mm,
And you do that 4 times so that you're constantly uh, getting a variety of different foods with different nutrients. And
yeah.
variety is the spice of life. This is good for the gut.
Mm,
This is, like you said, this is how we start getting those other sources of nutrients from different places. And
mm,
what I've found is I can really tune into what my body likes when I do that. Because if
yep.
you're just eating fish and potatoes and whatever, avocado, something like that, and your body feels really good, you can just be like, all right, I feel like my body is really liking fish right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll play around with something else. You start to tune in with what your body likes, and
Mm,
so much of this journey is actually forming a connection with your body,
it is.
rather than just like writing it all down and memorizing it. It's like,
Mm,
can you tune into your body so that your body can start to tell you what it needs, right?
yep.
And that's that muscle testing and stuff.
Mm,
Brother, if I was going to ask you, like, what are the top three what are the top three supplements that you are kind of like a non-negotiable for you? Because I feel like
mm,
we are in a space where we need to supplement because we're not getting the right nutrients, and
yep.
or it's really hard to find nutrient dense foods.
Mm,
Like, yeah, what are the, maybe we'll say three or four, like what are the three or four like non-negotiable supplements for
mm.
yourself that you kind of implement?
I don't have many. Um,
Cool,
yeah,
interesting.
I do a lot of juicing. I
Yep.
do a lot of juicing. So, I mean, if we're, they're starting to bottle up curcumin, and that's a derivative of turmeric.
Yes.
Bro, that buzzes me out. Like, you can get the natural source and you don't need all the fiber, you don't need all the calories. You can juice it up. There's affordable juices, and people are like, oh, what about the fiber? And then my answer to that is, what about the other 3 to 4 meals you're eating throughout the day? Do they contain fiber?
Mm.
Um, Juicing isn't be all end all. It's a very important aspect of my life. I need to actually make some more because we're just smashing it. But I just take a shot a
Wicked.
day, and it's very strong with the ginger and the turmeric. Um, Most of the time, it's got celery, carrot, apple, pineapple, like all these in just one little shot, right? Every single day. keep the doctor away. Yeah, but
Bro,
that's a
that sounds
supplement to me.
awesome.
Yeah, that's a supplement to me. A few other things that I forgot there. Bit of black pepper to activate the curcumin. Um, yeah, so my actual supplements that I take, creatine,
Yep.
number one.
Yeah.
Like
Creatine's
I
up there, eh?
yeah, just creatine, bro. I'm just starting cod liver oil.
Yeah. Cool.
Um, I don't know how I feel about that at the moment, just because of the mercury levels in, but it's mercury tested. It's yeah, they spin the yarn, but you don't actually know until you what you said. Be in tune with your body. How does your body react to this? How do you feel? Do you
Yeah.
feel
Can I
good?
can I tell a quick story on that, bro? Because you'll
Yeah.
appreciate this. It was Paul Chick. He recalled this story of a guy. He wrote a book. He was
Mm,
in, I think, North America back in the day, maybe even the 1800s, and he lost his eyesight almost. Something happened to him, and his eyes were playing up, and he kind of got lost, and he
mm,
got lost from his friends, and he was basically like on his way out because he
yeah.
had no idea where he was. And he
Amazing.
kind of collapsed. He hadn't eaten in days. He couldn't see. His vision was going. And he
Mm,
came across this Native American guy who saw him, realized what was happening, and pulled a fish out of the stream and pulled the eye out and gave
mm.
him the eye to chew on and said, "Eat this eye." And his vision came clear.
Came back.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and it's the cod liver oil,
Yeah.
and it's so good for the vision and
Mm,
obviously the brain and stuff
yep.
like this. There's a lot of super minerals in there, but also I love how you're speaking to quality as well, because a lot of
Yep.
these things that have a good reputation, the companies that are producing them aren't in integrity and they're not sourcing the best quality too. So that's where that sort of discernment has to come in, eh?
Yeah, exactly, bro. And I always listen to Paul. I always listen to a lot of his students that have come through corrective culture here on the Sunshine Coast. These brothers here, they do a few supplements. I haven't dove into theirs yet,
Cool.
but yeah, just in alignment with the the supplement aspect of my diet, it's creatine. Just getting into cod liver oil, and I take every morning chlorella, spirulina, and beetroot powder. If I don't have
Cool.
fresh juice, I have beetroot powder, and I mix that up. I'm taking this L-citrulline at the moment, just a branch chain amino or amino
Cool.
acid, just to see what that's going to do with my performance in the gym. So that's
Awesome.
the only reason why I'm taking that. That's pretty much it, bro. Like for everyone out there, I would say creatine's really, really, really good. You've probably seen all the studies, bro. It's helping people, helping elderly, right? So I
Yes.
recommend that to a few clients depending on what they're going through. And then inflammatory things, ginger, like, bro, you can't get away from organic ginger, organic turmeric, even celery, like all these health foods that you're going to see in pills, get them in natural form because they're 20 times cheaper and you can just make juice from them, because you don't want to sit there and eat celery all day. No one does. Or, I don't know. I don't like celery,
Nah,
but
not me,
juicing it
bro.
up. Yeah, just juicing it up and taking it and it tasting good is
Yep.
what keeps my kids eating it or drinking it. Sorry. They
Epic,
drink it
bro.
and they're happy, bro. They're like, oh, they think it's like a fizzy drink. They're like, oh, yes, I get to have juice. And I'm like, let's go.
Man, that's epic in itself, bro. And there's something
Mm,
rewarding as a father to know that you're nourishing your kids like that and that they're
exactly.
getting that huge boost, man. Like, that's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, bro, they're gonna be beasts. Like they know it, but they
Yep.
don't appreciate it. They don't
Yeah.
appreciate. They're solid. Like they do. My son can do 100 push-ups. He's only 8. My other
That's epic.
one, yeah, he rather do squats. So he picks up the kettlebells and holds it here and does goblet squats and stuff. And I'm like, bro, these guys are strong. One's 5 and one's 8, and I'm like, damn. When I was that age, I barely could do a push-up.
Bro, that's
Yeah,
powerful. I really want to get my son into doing more kind of training, but he's really good with things like sometimes I'll be around people and they'll offer him things. Like they'll
mm,
offer him a biscuit or a chocolate or something, and like I'm about to step in and be like, "Oh no, we don't do that." But he'll
yeah,
just tell them. He's like, "No, I don't want that." Like
yeah,
he knows that it's crap, and
mm,
he doesn't fuck with that. You know, it's like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's cool, man. But I think that's one of the most rewarding things is like knowing that they are going to appreciate that when they grow
mm,
up and realize how healthy they are.
yeah.
Yeah.
I yeah, I want them to be um, better than me. You know,
Mm,
when it comes
mm.
to sweets, they're just all for it. They have that, and they have health, but their foundations, as long as their foundations in all aspects, you know, not just health, in
Yes.
in their careers, whatever they choose. You know, I want them to understand, like, do the mahi, get the treats, and I just repeat that all the time. What do you have to
Beautiful.
do? Oh, do the mahi. Why? So I get the treats. And what's the treats in that? I become the best player in my team. There you go. But you got to do the
On,
work,
brother.
bro.
On.
I'm just religious with them. They hate it, bro. You know, but it is what
Yeah,
it is.
I'm there now, bro. I'm really trying to bring more structure in, so this is good. This is good. I wouldn't mind just like double clicking on the juicing thing too, because it's almost like it's actually quite inspiring for me. I'm feeling into it, and I'm like, because I do my superfood smoothie, usually after the gym. That's usually my first meal. You know, throw a whole bunch of superfoods in there, maca powder, creatine. I might do like a collagen protein, something like that.
Right.
I'll
Yep.
crack like the raw egg yolks in there and everything.
Let's
Um,
go.
yeah, let's go, man. But and I think those of us that understand like eating whole foods, eating clean, getting the right proteins, getting the right carbohydrates, but where else do you throw these juices in the mix? You know, like what other kind of juices are you doing, and like what do you feel this is really doing for you?
Mm. Cleansing my digestive system.
Mm,
Um, getting rid of, not getting rid of. I just went for a detox, just through juices alone, and I got rid of all my worms, bro. Like I
parasites.
literally saw them in the stool, and I was like, damn, I didn't know it
Nice.
was that riddled. But I had a few skin issues, and I think it came from protein. It came
Yep.
from meat. It came from meat, and I know that to be true. I stay away from pork. Haven't eaten pork in years.
Same
Um,
here.
yeah, but it does come from beef. It comes from fish. It comes from all these different meats. Um, yeah, and I went for what was it? And I was still eating at the same time, but I was intermittent fasting. So through my fasting phase, I was just having tea, I was having coffee, and then when I would hit lunchtime, I would have a whole glass of juice. Hit that first, wait about 30 minutes, and then I'd have my first protein meal, which were basically eggs, bit of
Mm,
kimchi, sourdough, and um, I like pickles, so I'd have pickles as well. So I'd just smash that first, and you're still getting good gut health foods.
yes.
But first, I started with the juice, and man, the worms did not like that. Like you would feel cramping in your stomach. You know, I felt
Wow.
cramping in my stomach, and I'm like, oh fuck, can't wait until they're gone. You know.
What kind of juice was it?
So all I was sticking to were the basics, bro. Ginger, turmeric, celery, carrot, pineapple, apple for taste,
Mm,
and a lime, a whole lime. And I was just putting that all together, juicing that all together, shaking it up. Oh, and beetroot, sorry, and
mm.
beetroot. And
Write that
then,
down, everyone. Write that down.
yeah, write it down. I mean, it's a combination of everything. You're going to get benefits from all of them. But if I was to say the ones that done the work, celery, beetroot, ginger, turmeric,
Yep.
and maybe pineapple, talking about killing parasites, pineapple. Yeah, and just putting that in, bro, and done the do, and I feel strong. Like I'm
Wicked.
82 kgs, and I can squat heavy. You know, for me, because I'm not. I hate legs, bro, but I'm strong. I'm strong, and I
Wicked.
feel like it came after I cleared all of that. My back pain is gone. I didn't really have back pain, but the tightness that would always be there, where the digestive system is, that bloating, all of that, gone. And it's not to replace your meals. You know, you can go through a detox. I think I just put the post up yesterday, but the detox isn't the plan. You know, it's just to cleanse. It's to get rid of all the
Yes.
heavy, all the heavy meats, all the undigested protein, flushes it out, and then you're able to replenish. So you're detoxifying, cleansing, eliminating, and then replenishing. I'm an advocate for juicing, bro. Like juicing, cleansing, all of this holistic stuff that I used to be against. I used to crack up at this stuff. Like, bro, I'm a fighter. I'm a scrapper. I didn't care about any of this. Like, I didn't even stretch. I never used to stretch. Like, didn't think about meditation. Didn't think, bro, I'm the holistic coach now. And it's funny because it works. You know, it works. You can look at it as woo woo if you want to, but you cannot fight against the results that it gives.
That's it, bro. Results
It's the
speak for
results.
themselves, hey.
The
Yeah,
results.
and it's
Like,
cool, bro. Like you're making me want to juice more. Like I've experimented a lot with fasting and done certain parasite cleanses and stuff like that. But
yeah.
even just having this conversation, I feel like bringing some more of those like nutrient dense, different kind of smoothies into my life would be good. Would be a good
Mm,
idea. And I've seen you lift weights, bro. Like you're strong, bro. Like I see you out there, like getting it
thank you,
in,
bro.
man. Yeah, for me, like I've currently got a shoulder injury, so I'm going through this phase of like still showing up. Doesn't mean
Mm,
that I have to stop, right? I don't want to like fall
mm,
back into this place of stagnation. I
yeah.
just want need to program my workouts differently. I can still do legs, I can still hit my core, I can
Mm,
still go for runs, I can still do functional stuff while I'm working with my shoulder as best I can.
yeah.
But I love training, bro. I love strength training. It makes me feel
Mm,
good. Both of us former martial artists, you know, I think there's like a fire there that
mm,
we love the high intensity. We
yeah.
love to get after it and really push because we know how good we feel afterwards.
Mm,
But I think this old school bodybuilder mentality where it's like, you know, you come in, you know, maybe you do a few stretches and then you just go straight to the machines or
yeah.
whatever. Like, how has your approach changed with strength training, functional training? Like, you get people that come in who maybe aren't in good shape, but they know
Mm.
that this is a part of it. They have to like strengthen their body. Like, what are some of those foundational pillars for you when you're working with someone with exercise?
Cool, bro. My main foundations is to work on everyone, starting with posture, core conditioning, and functional strength. That's it.
Beautiful.
If I can implement a strategy that works on these areas for any specific client, they will benefit from it. So I don't want to guess, but I can guess that every single fucking person on this planet, bro, or 99% of them, their posture is out of whack. They don't even know that it is, right?
Yes.
Their core conditioning is garbage. They don't even know that it is. Their functional strength is ridiculously limited and they don't even know that it is. Most of the people that I get come to me have this ignorance about my coaching or any coaching, you know, because they've tried it before. Oh, I know this. Oh, I've already done this. So they have this ignorant or arrogant aspect, which I discern, and I'm like, they only know what they know. And then I recommend or I assign to them a basic posture program, and they can't even do half of it. Or they do it and they feel like crap. You know, the next day they feel like, oh my God, this is so sore. Like, because I know that guaranteed you might have done training before, but I used to do that training. I've done that for 5, 6 years. I know what that is. I was that coach or I was that PT. I consider myself a health professional now. I'm the
Yes.
alternative to keep you away from the doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not the personal trainer that just keeps you strong and keep your lungs burning and keep your muscles sore. I used to be, but
Yeah.
I've developed over the years where I'm a health practitioner where you come in,
Yeah.
I'm going to heal you if you need healing. I'm going to develop you into the athlete that you want to be if that's what you want. But when you come and you focus on these three foundations or these pillars: posture, core conditioning, functional strength, you can work off that now, because now you have a clean slate or a canvas that we can paint on instead of coming in and the canvas is all shredded up. we can actually build off it now.
Brother, I love those three pillars there. Um, I definitely work with the core and I definitely work with functional strength. I think the core is probably where I start with a lot of people, and I have to make sure that there's stretch tests and all that kind of stuff. And
Mm.
we need to make sure the core's, at a certain level before we start getting into some of
Yeah.
the strength training, let alone are you hydrated and those kind of things. But the posture's sticking out to me right now. Like, how do you assess somebody's posture? Like, what are some of the simple things people can do that are maybe going to help their posture? That might be a bit tricky on a podcast. You might need to
Mm.
like hold up pictures or something, but like maybe you can just go into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So majority of people sit at a desk all day.
Mm.
So right there we can already say, okay, hip flexors. Hip flexors are super tight.
Yes.
When you're sitting on a desk, and even me right now, I have internal rotation on my shoulder, and I can feel it. So that's why you've
Mm.
probably seen me a few times on this. Just do this.
Yeah.
I've just pulled back, and I can hear the crack of my scapula just going. Um, so just in that alone, I'm thinking hip flexors. I'm thinking my scapula, my infraspinatus, supraspinatus. They need to do their job because they're not doing their job. And everyone that I talk to on a call like this, they're all like this. And I
Yeah.
know straight away you're in kyphosis. Like, oh no, I'm not. What is kyphosis? That rolled forward posture, that
Yeah.
boxer's shoulder.
Mm.
I used to be like that.
I've got it
But
too,
now,
bro. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm Canelo. Pull those shoulder blades back and hold that position because I understand that it all comes from posture. Your power comes from the back. Um, so there are a few, depending if that person is injured, but opening up your hip flexors. If you work at a desk or if you're sitting quite a lot in the day, opening up your hip flexors. Depending on the
Mm.
person, bro. If they come to me and they're like, "Oh man, I'm very active. I'm a tradie. I'm on the roof all the time," or yeah, depending on the client. If they're corporate and they're sitting in an office most of the time, it's hip flexors, um, kyphosis, so shoulder blades, opening up their pecs,
Yeah.
strengthening their back. Extension as well. A lot of people don't do extension; they just do rows, and they're still stuck like this doing rows. So really understanding that the posture needs to be an extension to align yourself. And then sometimes I get clients to send me photos of them standing side on.
Mm.
When they first join my program, they have to take photos forward, both sides, and back. And bro, my visuals from doing all the check study, I'm just like, without even having any calipers or without having anything for their forward head posture, I can see it. And one of
Mm.
my mentors, um, he's the man. He doesn't like to say that he's a mentor, but one of my mentors, Rod, he would say once you get to a point where you can just look at someone and understand them, that's how you know that you're at a level where not much people will even try to get to.
Yes.
So I can just, for a few years there, that we'd be walking down the street just going for a stroll, and I'd be looking at people's posture like, damn, how are they living? Like,
Yeah.
how is this
That's right.
person? I could even tell injuries. One of my cousins, he wanted to get back into the NRL or, back into that area, and I told him to come over. He had the ego about him where, I've been there, done that. Like I already know, all my coaches have told me. And then he came, and I just said, oh, bro, you're holding this because potentially like something to do with your dad. and all of this, and your knees and your ankles and your shoulder, and he's just like, where's this coming from? You know, that's what he was thinking. I could see it. But then I created a program. I knew where his ailments were, and then I created a program for him. In less than 3 months, he was lifting double of what he had been lifting, and all
Wow.
his injuries were gone, all his weaknesses, and he started sprinting. He's like, bro, I feel fast, I feel strong, and I'm like, cool. You know, and that was in person, so it's a lot more in depth when it's in person, but then it's a lot more expensive too. So it was more
Yeah.
when we're virtual, it's visual for me, and then I work on it from there and assign it to them, and there's always benefit just from basics. Yeah, aligning their posture.
I feel like that's so key, like getting back to the basics. And from like what you just said, I feel like having a good mobility routine that you just
Yeah.
get into before you do anything else is so key. Just to
Mm,
like open those things up. You know the hip flexors are going to be tight. You know
mm,
you need to like activate the shoulders and get that full range of motion going before you do anything. Like
100%.
it's just so key. And like for me, I enjoy training like an athlete,
Mm,
like adding in things like plyometrics. Can you jump? Can you do functional
mm,
movements? Can you do exercises that are actually going to translate to your everyday life? Like
mm,
picking the right kind of exercises. Um, and very much like we've been talking to like some of the science that's coming out about all this stuff. Muscle is the organ of longevity. Muscle is this thing that's going to help our blood sugar levels. You know, it's a
mhm,
sponge for glucose. It means you're going to have more mitochondria, your
mm,
immune system. I don't know if you know about myokines. Myokines are like this thing that happens when you work out. They're protein signals that go to the brain, and
mm,
they create like neuroplasticity. Your
mm.
memory's better. It's kind of like miracle grow for your brain,
Yeah.
and it's just through resistance training. Like, and I think that's
Stimulated.
why we feel so
I
good,
can,
right?
yeah, I can agree with that. I can understand that. That's where your creative mind comes from. What you're just explaining, like neuroplasticity, being able to
Mm.
see something that you would not have seen if you didn't go into the gym and train.
That's
That's,
it, bro.
yeah,
That's
it
it.
happens for me all the time. Like I have all these,
Feel sharp.
yeah, feel sharp, feel amazing in creativity, especially when I'm training. Like that's where I get my best ideas. That's where I
Mm.
get, oh, I need to do that in my business, or I need to structure that, or I need to contact this person because that's what's getting pumped into the brain from the muscle pump. Like you're
Bro,
getting
and
better and better
yep.
ideas.
And this is the important conversation is I think a lot of people feel this, but if they're not doing the posture work and the core work and the mobility and the stretching, then they set themselves up for injuries. And it's
Yep.
just a matter of time
Yep.
before something happens, right? And then the knee goes or the lower back
Mm,
goes or you get really sick
mm,
and it's so important to learn this stuff. So okay, like even for me, like, my shoulder's nearly better, it's getting there,
mm,
but I know that because it happened, I need to adjust something. Something needs to happen
mm,
where I'm changing up even just the type of training that I'm doing. I like
mm,
strength training, but there's many different ways
mm.
to to work to work the same muscles too. So picking those functional exercises,
Mm.
do you have like favorite exercises that you like to give people as far as like, let's say somebody's, they've been working on their mobility, working on their posture, they're ready to hit like a good workout, a good full body workout. Like, are you doing some of these common exercises that people might know about, or do you like to implement some of these different functional type trainings as well?
Depending on the level of the person, you can never go wrong with squats. Like
Mm,
squats, honestly, as
agreed.
simple as they are, I still get challenged by.
Bang for
I
your
still get,
buck movement, eh?
yeah, it's the most natural movement that there is. You know, the seven primal patterns of human movement is squat is one of them. You know,
Yes.
squatting down to take a poo. You know, that's one of the main things. But doing that with weight on your back, it's still challenging to this day, bro. It's not getting easier for me. I hate it.
Yeah.
But because I hate it, I have to do it. You know, and that's
Yep.
one of the disciplinary things that I need to do in my day. I have to do legs today, bro. You just reminded me. But
Let's
squat was
go.
definitely, yeah,
Let's
let's go.
go.
but that's one of the basics that I give to clients is squats. Depending on where they're at, I'm not going to get someone that has no range of motion, has no transverse movement, something to do a cable pull with a rotation lunge. Like I'm not going to get them to do random shit. It's getting those 7 primal patterns working well first, and
Yes.
then progressing them into functional movements. But if I get someone that's, been training for a while, yeah, I'll mix it up with them. Like the most challenging thing that I like to give, or semi-challenging, is to give them Swiss ball exercises. Or as soon as
Mm.
they jump on a Swiss ball, they're just like, oh shit, what's this? I was doing Swiss ball bench pressing, and people
Oh
were
wow.
like, how are you doing that on that Swiss ball? It's gonna pop. If you get a proper one, a durable, they can handle up to 500 kgs. So if I'm
Oh,
bench pressing 120 kgs on a Swiss ball, it's a different feeling. Because if
bro.
you make one slight, like, bro, it's insane, but it made my body super strong though. Like I just felt super integrated in a push pattern, but also in a
Yes.
pull pattern, also in a squat, also in a lunge. And I'm like, wow, it's carrying over to everywhere. So then I started doing a plyometric movement with it where I would go super heavy and hit it for as strong. I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm engaging my core, pressing it up, but I'm trying to jolt at the same time.
Mm.
About 70% weight on there. So I was trying to get that inertia and stop it as it's coming down. So I'm pushing it as hard and as fast as I can, using my serratus anterior to jolt it up, and then that landing on me.
Yeah.
That's when I would try and control it all the way down, bro. And just that in itself made the body like, we're gonna die if we don't engage together. So it
That's right.
really integrated
Recruit
my body.
all those little stabilizing muscles and stuff. That's that athletic training, bro. I was
Yeah,
actually doing a similar one on the Swiss ball with a kettlebell. So
nice.
single arm press with heavy kettlebell, and then rotating on the extension and then
Yeah,
controlling it
cool.
back.
Yeah.
And then I would superset that with my feet on the Swiss ball, push ups on the ground with the knee tuck afterwards,
I
and
mean,
things
yeah.
like that. And these are those bang for your buck exercises that just hit everything, and like your
Yeah,
whole body's lit up.
yeah.
And
That Swiss
yeah,
ball is a game changer, especially if people don't use it.
yeah,
That's one tool or one exercise equipment that I tell people to buy. Get a quality one if you can, 100 to 200 bucks. You're gonna get a durable that's gonna last forever. You can deflate it, take it to NZ, Oz, America, wherever you're going. Swiss ball, bro. And they're like, why? But then when they start using it, they're like, okay, like yeah, that's a pretty good tool because you can do anything on it, and you can engage things, you can mix it up. It engages everything, especially if you're not really focused on hypertrophy, or if you're not focused on trying to develop, lean mass. You don't really care for that. You just want to get your exercise in. Swiss ball is
yeah.
pretty buzzy. It's good.
And I'm sure you have clients like that too, bro, where they don't necessarily want to go in the gym and hit big weights and stuff, but we
Mm,
know how important movement is, and we know
yeah.
that like yeah, you go for like a half an hour walk every now and then, but that's not really going to cut it. Like we
Mm,
need to do like proper movements and
strength.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like maybe like women who are a bit older, or people
Mm.
that are kind of like working with stuff, like are you just prescribing them like stuff to do at home, and just keeping them accountable, or like because I mean there's always stuff we can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So depending on the client, if they're too shy to go into the gym, I'll prescribe them a home. I got 10,000 movements inside the software, bro. So I just put it together depending on that
Oh, massive.
person's level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always try and get them to start accumulating gear because
Mm,
I train at home and I haven't trained at a gym for years, bro. Just because I don't like the environments unless it's a fight gym.
yeah.
Like I
Bro,
just feel
I
like going.
100% agree. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd rather just go into a fight gym and be like, yo, like this is where I feel comfortable in an environment. when I go to a gym, there's so much ego that's like a waste of time. Like,
Mm,
what do you use that for? Just to look good? Cool. That's your, like, I'm not a part of that world, bro. So
mm.
I try and keep that separate and I just train at home. I've worked in gyms for, you know, a lot of years and I just don't like the environments. Some cool people for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But then I just don't like those energies that are all about me. Look at me, look at me. And I'm like, nah.
Lot of different energies, bro. I've always found that the best workouts that I've had have just been when it's just me and I can dial in.
Exactly.
I can just focus in because that's why we go there in the first place. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many distractions at a
Yep.
commercial gym, and yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Whereas the
Yeah.
martial arts gyms, it's like those people are humble. Those people are
Yeah.
there for
Everyone's
because
there
they're
to
trying to
develop.
level up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone's
they're
there
there to
to
develop
develop. And
themselves. You can't be in that sport for too long without like being a certain type of personality. The people that
yeah.
aren't there for the right reasons, they don't last.
Yeah. They come in, get a hiding, and they'll leave. So
That's it.
perfect. But yeah, I prescribe either home or at the gym prescriptions, and I call them. I'm prescribing you an exercise regime. It's words as well. Like if I'm
Mm,
giving you a training program, like you can go to any willy nilly.
mm.
If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. It's one of my mentor's sayings. Never, I still don't understand that, but if you pay peanuts, bro, you get monkeys, and you're just gonna get a prescription that's either gonna work for you or not. But when you work with a health professional or health coach that knows what they're doing with a holistic lens, you are going to develop into a proper performing human. Like you're going to be on point.
Mm.
So depending on where they are, if they go to the gym, I'll prescribe something easy, and then we'll progress into resistant training, into plyometrics. If they're communicating that, if they're like, "Yeah, I'm ready
Yeah.
to change it up," and then I also tell them to get amongst the group trainings as well. So Pilates
Cool.
or box fit or anything that that will keep them inspired, because a lot of people get bored of training. I'm a person that I know that it's a necessity, otherwise my mental's all over the place. And you get people like that too, but then you also get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I'm bored." It's like,
Mm.
okay, like you still need to do it though. So I always
Yeah.
tell them, get into the gyms, join the group trainings, and try and have fun like that, or get a partner for the gym, but then don't become reliant on that person. So it's dependent. Yeah, it's depending on the person.
Yeah, I love that, brother. And I love this approach where you're suggesting all these other things, like start accumulating your own gear,
Yeah,
reach out, here's some different options that aren't just about what I can do for you, but it's like a life philosophy, like we're imparting wisdom onto people. And again, this is part of that intuitive faculty where I feel like, maybe you should go try out Pilates and, like, or, maybe you're going to enjoy that social aspect, and we need to do things that are going to tune your level of motivation and inspiration as well and build that fire.
yeah,
Brother, this has been a cool conversation. Heaps of gold in here, bro. Heaps of value, like, I really appreciate it. If I was going to finish with anything, bro, like, I just want to, I guess, ask you for your own personal journey, like where you're at now, all the stuff that you're doing now, like, have you got some vision for the future, some goals that you've got coming up? Or, are you happy just doing what you're doing? Or, but like, what's on the horizon for you coming up, bro? And yeah, what are some of the bigger goals that you've got in mind?
I appreciate this corridor today, bro. It's been amazing, and thank you for thinking of me to jump on your potty. So I appreciate
Absolutely,
that, and
brother.
I love your work, bro. I love your work. Everything that I've seen on social media, keep being you, keep turning
Mm,
up, keep being authentic, and things will definitely align and work out for you for sure. So I appreciate the time. But yeah, for me, continue doing what I'm doing. I'm really business focused. Obviously, clients are utmost importance. My whānau as well, but huge
mm,
things coming, bro. It's a work in process because I'm still learning and developing myself. As we said, we never stop learning. that's something that I'm learning to learn is to develop and to grow and to progress, and not stay stagnant, which I've never really liked. But there's a few things coming in the works. By the end of this year, I'm looking to have already started our workshops or our retreats. I don't like that word retreat because it's not a retreat, it's a health reboot, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to be running that hopefully with one of the brothers, Warpa. If not him, we'll see how it goes, but I definitely want to kickstart something by the end of the year. December the 1st, it'll be here in Oz, potentially in the GC, but we'll see how that goes, bro. It's just get the ball rolling, right? And understanding that we all have value to give, and expertise as well to help people restart, re-kick whatever's holding them back in life. So I got that going, scaling my business, helping more and more people, bro, and actually kickstarting my podcast again. And just being on here and your whole setup has really made me think, oh, I need to start doing this and start giving more value to people, because I'm value driven. If I can give you as much value in my content, in my jumping on your potty, if I can just give more value to people, then I'm able to help more people.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I need to get more and more back, but in turn, the universe or God or all of us collectively, I'm going to get it back anyway. And I'm a living testimony, bro, that if you believe in God, if you follow and trust in the divine, that everything will work out. Like I'm living proof. And yeah, you got to do the work, but they give you the inspiration. They give you the power within you to be able to carry it out.
Yeah, beautiful, brother.
You know, you cannot rely and say, oh no, I'm just waiting for it to come. You put in the hard yards, and it's in alignment with who you are authentically, it'll work out. And I never gloat. I never talk about what I do, what I make, how I do it. I should just be showing, and I feel like I am. So you do it authentically, and it works, bro. It works. Trust and
Yeah, that's it, brother. I love that saying, pray and move your feet, you know?
pray and move your feet.
And
Exactly, bro. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I love that you're doing that stuff, bro, and also bringing people together in some kind of in-person wānanga, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think it's really important that we do branch out to the online space. And yeah, I wish you all the best with your podcast, bro. You have to get me on
Thank
as
you,
a
brother.
guest.
For sure. For sure, I will.
But this is a big part of the time that we're in, right? Is like utilizing this social media space,
Yeah.
the online space. It's inevitable. People are on here, so we need to like spread the good message. But also, I think it's really important to bring people in person because that's where the real magic is too. So
Yes.
holding both of those spaces is really cool. I try and do that as well.
Cool.
And what are some of the things that people can like work? How are some of the ways people can work with you right now? Have you got things that are like monthly things that go on, cleanses or like journeys that you take people on?
Right now, we're just running our whole transformation program that runs for
Cool.
6 months. In there, the holistic lens, depending on the individual,
Yep.
we want to take you from A, from where you are, to B, to where you want to be. It's basically it. And I don't like to sugarcoat, oh, we do all these different things here, there, and everywhere. You come in, you get a tailored program or a specific program for you, whether that includes detoxification or setting your structure up correctly as it should be for you. That's what we're focused on at the moment, in our program. Is just that one program that caters to all individuals depending on where you are, and it's all
Cool.
a tailored approach. So that's pretty much it, bro. Yeah.
The man, brother. I love I guess the foundation that you have with the Czech Academy and like your journey and everything that you've studied, but also the experiential knowledge and just like doing what works, brother. So yeah, I appreciate you in this world. Thank you for jumping on today, bro. And we might have to do it again sometime.
Let's go. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Massive, brother.